Day 17, I think. Suddenly I have a doubt. And today I am doing something a little different. I'm right on the beach, and I'm not completely naked. I'm wearing a bathing suit. And I'm thinking a lot about the fact that I have 3 daughters. And with everything that's happening in the world today, it feels so timely to think again about what am I leaving my daughters. For the longest time, when the girls were born, and life felt so different then, I was considering, what will I leave the girls? And of course, there was like all the issues about some kind of monetary value. And over the years, especially since I've been going through my crisis, which affected me in many, many ways, it started becoming clear that leaving the inheritance in its normal, sort of habitual sense of the word is not really any kind of an accomplishment. And even if we're not talking about accomplishments, but rather, what kind of legacy, right? What kind of legacy do I want to leave my girls? And because our world is changing so dramatically, and the rules that we've relied on to understand what is success and what is failure and what is achievement and what is a good girl, and all these ridiculous many rules that we were following, they're crumbling in my perception of the world anyway. And they certainly haven't helped me, and they certainly haven't worked for me. So what I am considering these days, what is the legacy that I'll leave my girls? It's to help them connect to their own inner voice, because I understand more and more that even I, in my, even with all the growth that I've done for myself, I'm not really a perfect guide for them, because their world that they're going to be navigating is so different from mine. And it's so obvious that they're going to have to be very flexible and very present for everything that's happening, so that they can be agile and decide in the moment. And with the, once again, recent news about the rights and how our children will have even fewer rights than we did, there is a resistance in me about that. There is something that I don't quite accept that. There is something in my body that's telling me that's just not true. And I think our rights are intact. And I keep on thinking of this phrase by Viktor Frankl in his book. The title escapes me now, but basically he was saying something to the effect that everything can be taken from a man but his dignity. And there is something, to sort of paraphrase it, that all the outside rules can be what they are, but nobody can take away our connection to ourself, our bodies, our inner essence, our source. And there are these natural rules and natural laws about who we are and the freedom. The freedom is innate, and nobody can take it away from us. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to get to a place where I'd like to leave my girls that sense of confidence about being who they are, and that the only guide is their own inner knowing. It's their own connection with their essence, and their own sense of resilience and trust in their capacities, and trust that they're supported by life when they're in this alignment with it. and that whatever they're going through is happening for them rather than against them, and that there is something, that there is always a message that's implicit in the events. So what I am really, really interested in today is how can I help leave the legacy to the girls that it's when I stepped into my inner power and dared to speak my truth and dared to be different and dared to deal with not being liked. It allowed me to step into my power and connect to that inner voice that will never lead me astray. I just feel that when we can go through life reliant on our inner knowing, it's the biggest freedom. And also because I've lived in different cultures, and I think my girls will as well. I mean, they already have, they're between Europe and the States, and so in each country the rules are a little bit different, and we do things a little bit differently. So I think that they already have that understanding that the outer rules of behavior will change with the group of people with whom we're interacting, but that the inner knowing, that inner connection, the inner guide will doesn't have to change. I mean, we can change and flow and be flexible and be mutable and like be in dance with life and with people in it. But that if we navigate life not so much from the outside in, the way we've been taught, but more from the inside out, so expressing ourselves, expressing our needs and desires and wishes and dreams and passion, and watch the outside world respond to us, there's something of a truth there that I am not fully even, I'm not even fully yet articulating it very clearly, I think. But it's a kind of knowing that's starting to emerge, that if my girls can feel safe relying on their own inner guidance, which is connected to this relationship with the universe, that they don't have to worry, that they are guided exactly to where they must go. And in a way, it helps me also to reframe everything that I've gone through in my life, and particularly some of the difficulties that felt so traumatic when they were happening. Today, I also am able to see them as a kind of liberation, because by yanking me out of familiar environment, it kind of forced me to understand who I am within and start living from the inside out rather than trying to satisfy other people's demands on me and other people's rules and expectations. And there is freedom in that. There is freedom in that capacity to just be guided from the inner voice. Hopefully that made some sense to whoever may be watching, but I feel like there is something that's emerging within me that I needed to express, and it always helps to voice it. So that's what I'm thinking about today, and I'll see you tomorrow.